Hi guys and welcome back to my channel. Now today I'm going to show you how to just crush the hanging pawns. Now I know that I've done a video on how to play against the hanging pawns and also a video on how to play with the hanging pawns. But I thought this game is really useful on how to play against the hanging pawns, and more examples you see, the better you will understand this structure. So, okay, here in this position, as you can see, black doesn't have the hanging pawns yet. I mean, this pawn is not on c5, but okay, we can call them hanging pawns because they're isolated from the other pawns, as you can see. And okay, my queen here is on d3, which is not bad. Just prepares my rook to come to this d file. And also the other rook will come to the c file because it's very important to put pressure on these hanging pawns early on. So you don't allow your opponent to get any kind of counterplay with these pawns. And if it's possible, you also want to blockade these pawns, so he can't play c5, like you're going to see. Okay, so here he just developed his bishop to e7, and I played my knight to c3. I'm also preventing him, of course, from playing something like c5, because this pawn is just hanging, and there are also problems on this diagonal. So, okay, he just castled, and I played b3. Now the point of b3 is that I want to develop my dark squared bishop to b2, and then quickly play my rook to c1. And also against the hanging pawns, you a lot of times want to play a move such as b3 and also e3. So these pawns are protecting these d4 and c4 squares here, which means that he's not going to play a move such as d4 or c4, some pushes in the center easily, because these squares are going to be well protected. So that's also one point of playing b3. Okay, so he still can't play c5, he played a5. This is a lot of times an idea against the hanging pawns. Try to play a5, a4, activating your rook, just exchanging this isolated pawn and trying to give you an isolated pawn here. But the thing is that this a4 square is well protected. My knight is here, so there's no danger. That's why I just developed my bishop to b2, and really a lot of times the idea is to play something like knight a4 and knight to c5. This is just a really nice outpost here for the knight, and as long as this pawn here stays on c6, this is a really weak pawn because it's kind of backwards, and it's also giving our knight a very nice square. And even if he takes this knight with a bishop, let's say, then we would recapture it with a rook, and we would still have great pressure on this pawn, and yeah, then we would double up, and it would just be great for us. He developed his bishop to a6. That's also another idea of playing a5, attacking the queen. And now the best square for the queen, and where I retreated my queen, is c2. Now why is that? That's because, okay, this queen first of all protects this pawn that the bishop would be attacking, but the most important thing is that it can't be attacked by any piece from the black camp. It could also exert pressure here on this c6 pawn, and also the idea of knight a4 and knight c5 becomes really possible because the queen is also supporting the knight, and we're just ready to bring our rooks into action. So okay, now he played rook to e8, I played my rook to d1, again trying to prevent him from playing c5 because then we just take the pawn. He played his bishop to f8, and now, like I said before, I just played e3. This is a good idea, like I said, preventing moves such as d4 maybe in the future, and also this pawn was under quite some pressure by this bishop and the rook. So this is a nice move. He just played knight to g4. Now this is not a nice move. I mean, where is this knight going? It's not attacking anything here, and he's just moving it away. So this should really be a bad move, and I was really happy when I saw that move. So now I just thought that okay, let's stop him from playing c5 forever. Let's just play knight to a4. Our knight is going to this nice c5 square. Also, as you can see, we have a queen on c2, so it's also taking this pawn on c6. That's why he has to protect it. He just played queen to d6. And I basically just attacked the pawn again, so he has to defend it. He played his rook to c8, and now I was very happy because I managed to stop these pawns from moving. They have become weak, and yeah, I can just jump on c5 with my knight. It also attacks the bishop, that's why this is a really good thing. If he plays something like his bishop here, I probably just have a4 because he can't go back. This square is protected by the knight, and he doesn't have any other square, so the only move is to take the knight with the queen. And then after these massive exchanges, the bishop is still attacked, and he has to move it somewhere. Let's say he can go here, but we just attack it again. And after he moves, this pawn, as you can see, is a weakness. He thought it was a nice idea to play a5, a4, but he never managed to do that because our knight here was protecting also that square, and he just didn't have time because of all the pressure on these pawns here in the center also. So that's why this pawn became weak, and now we can just take it, and attacking the bishop, we're just winning here. Also, we have the bishop pair, and these pawns still remain weak. But okay, he didn't play his bishop to b5, he just took the knight immediately. Which is also fine, because after we exchange everything, our rook is here nicely sitting on c5, putting pressure on this pawn, putting pressure on this weakness. I'm ready to play something like rook to c1, and just a really good position here. He played knight to e5, trying to get his knight into the game. But I just took the weakness here on a5, and I'm just winning here. He attacked my rook, and I just moved it to c1. You know, we want to have our rooks here targeting these weaknesses, and as you're going to see, there are also going to be some back rank mate problems. So he checked me. I could have taken the knight, but I would just wanted to play it safe. I just went to h1. And he went back. Now, yeah, this is a blitz game, but still, what is he going to do? I mean, he has to do something. Like, if I manage to attack this bishop and it has to move, then this knight is just lost. So that's why he went back. He saw that there's nothing to do here. But now try to spot the winning idea for white. Okay, so the winning idea is to drag this rook out of the back rank by taking the knight, and then this rook becomes unprotected. Unprotected piece. The winning move here is just rook takes c6 because he obviously can't take the rook because of the back rank mate. But I just played a different move. I took on d5 with my rook. It's the same idea. He can take like this because he gets mated. And he can't take like this because, okay, we just take the rook back. Again, he can take the bishop because of mate. And if he defends the pawn, let's say, then I think that just a4 is just completely winning. He has to move, and now we're like 3 pawns up with a completely winning endgame. So it's really nice to see how these hanging pawns got crushed. He couldn't even move the pawn to the c5 square because we made sure that we're putting early pressure on this d5 pawn and also controlling these two squares here. So his pawn structure kind of stayed stuck, and then we just went to c5 with our knight, nice outpost, and then these pawns are just going to fall because they're weak. So guys, I really hope that you found this video useful. I'm sure it was, and if you did, please subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video.